I am Groot.
We are Venom.
I am Groot.
We are suddenly considering a plant-based diet.
It's time to look at more Easter eggs and fun facts across Marvel rivals. Since we've already covered the realm of the gods and a gateway to unfathomable evil, let's now turn our attention to two very different yet connected locations. Starting with the more expansive of the two, we have the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda. This is based on the galaxy-spanning civilization of the same name first seen in Marvel Legacy #1 back in 2017. It seems that T'Challa, aka Black Panther, aka the King of Wakanda, sent out explorers to search for the origin of the asteroid that brought vibranium to Wakanda. These explorers ended up going through a wormhole, which transported them into the past. They then established an empire named after their homeland, which grew over 2,000 years. Despite the odd origin story and galactic scale, Wakanda is still quite familiar to its other iterations, blending the environment, history, and ideals of their ancestral home with incredibly advanced technology. One use of this tech is the Stellar Spaceport, which helps connect Wakanda's various worlds with the wider universe. Around the spaceport, a holographic screen displaying flight info tells an interesting story. SA-115 transported the Shi'ar Imperial Guard from the Chandalar spaceport. If you don't know, the Shi'ar Empire apparently rules a million worlds, and Chandalar is the name of their home planet. While the Shi'ar people look like humans, they're actually descended from birds, and most have feathers instead of hair, and usually unusable wings on their wrists. The KR-556 carried the Kree diplomatic gestalt from the Hala spaceport. The Kree are humanoids with blue skin, and Hala is their home planet. Also, as you may know, the Kree have a long-standing feud with the Skrulls, a race of shape-shifting humanoids. As for the other flights, we discussed this one in the previous video, and this one carrying the Guardians of the Galaxy will be explained later. Now, turning our attention from the stars back to the surface, the waterfalls portion of Burn and T'Challa highlights Wakanda's natural beauty and combative virtues. The actual capture point is the iconic dueling arena atop a massive waterfall, which has appeared both in the comics and MCU. Around the map are multiple statues. This panther and gorilla are having a standoff, representing the long-standing rivalry between the white gorilla god Gerki and the panther god Bast. While T'Challa is usually the panther's avatar, M'Baku of the Jabari village is the gorilla's avatar. Also, in the map's shared spawn room, the large panther statue is flanked on both sides by multiple hyena. Elsewhere, you can find two copies of the same statue layout, a larger hyena sitting across from a smaller hyena missing its head. No doubt this is meant to represent the Hyena Clan, a group that split off from the rest of the Wakandan tribes after being found to have caused war between Wakanda and a neighboring country. Much like their namesake, the Hyena Clan were seen as scavengers and thieves, so the broken statue may represent how they fight amongst themselves. I also think that the hyena in the spawn room are meant to represent Wakanda as a nation that values strength. Few combatants are willing to challenge the Black Panther directly, but many more are willing to pounce and scavenge whenever there's a power vacuum. It's a plotline that appears a lot in the comics. Of course, the Black Panther doesn't stand alone, as the Dora Milaje are always close at hand.
Female warriors akin to our own Valkyria. Wakanda's king has good taste.
Great environmental storytelling, Marvel rivals. Now we go from a natural wonder to the forefront of technology, the Imperial Institute of Science. This is perhaps my least favorite map to play, but it has a lot of good details. Away from the capture point, in one of the suites we can find Shuri's lab/apartment. To the left of her bed are portraits of her and her brother T'Challa, and on her bed is a plushie of Bast. How cute. On the holographic screens we can see a lot of Wakandan text, which is unfortunately very clear and very legible. As it happens, the Wakandan alphabet was designed by Hannah Beachler, a production designer for the 2018 Black Panther film. It's based on the Nsibdi proto-writing system, which originated in Nigeria. Since this text is just English represented by different symbols, it didn't take me too long using this key to transliterate the text. Actually, once you memorize the vowels and a few common consonants, you can start to guess the words at a glance. On this main screen, it's a chat log from yesterday between Shuri and Tony Stark. The actual contents are surprisingly boring, just the two geniuses conferring about an experiment along with an innocuous goof. To the left, the text under the Black Panther suit reads "fused with chronovium," and on the right it says "chronovium mutation and extraction power," both followed by numbers. While editing, I realized there was another different screen elsewhere in the institute, so I transcribed that as well. It's an analysis report for a sample of Vibranium chronovium from the Vibranium parent star. This fusion of elements releases unstable chronovium energy, which has potential but must be stabilized first. Chronovium is a crystal generated by the time stream entanglement, which as mentioned before is the inciting incident that brought all of Marvel Rivals characters and worlds together. In-game, Chronovium is the geometric shimmering gold that can be found all over the place. It's able to fuse itself with seemingly everything. Also in the facility, you can find a window to a closed-off lab containing some special equipment.
Hello, Trudy. You are the real solution to the problem, aren't you?
So Trudy is his nickname for the Time Stream Reintegration Device, the TRD, which according to Iron Man's lore entry was made by Shuri, himself, and Reed Richards. Also apparently Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, gave some insight. Iron Man also credited T'Challa as a collaborator, but while Wakanda is at war with the two Dr. Dooms behind the time stream entanglement, he has more pressing matters, involving the Halls of Djalia, which has the most spiritual significance of all of the Wakandan maps. You see, Djalia is the name of the ancestral plane, aka the plane of Wakandan memory. It's where the dead go to rest, and the rare living being visits to speak with the gods, plural. While Bast gets the most attention when it comes to Wakanda and its spirituality, she's actually part of a pantheon of Wakandan gods collectively known as the Orisha. Atop towers in the middle of the map are heads representing each of the gods.
Their gods look so much cooler than mine.
In addition to Bast the Panther, we have the ever-burning god of war Koku, the life-giver, goddess of substance Mujaji, the god bird Thoth, I guess he used to be the god of wisdom and the moon before Khonshu took that job. And speaking of, Ptah the Shaper is the one with the crescent head, and he might be Khonshu's brother? I don't know, gods are weird. There's also a tower that's broken, missing whatever used to sit atop it. I'm assuming that is meant to be Killaluna the Betrayer. She's Bast's sister and is the one who appears in game at the first checkpoint and at the end, assuming the attackers win. According to the lore, Killaluna was originally part of the Wakandan pantheon, but was jealous and wanted to have all the power for herself. This did not work out, but 10,000 years later she decided to try again by empowering an avatar of her own, Killmonger. In Marvel Rivals, Killaluna appeared to Black Panther warning that the Orisha were tainted by a darkness, which is what the escort mission is meant to overcome and dispel. That's why players have to deal with the wrath of Koku, Thoth, and Mujaji during the match. They're being corrupted.
There is a dire threat on the horizon.
Yes, I am well aware of Doom's meddling in the time stream.
That pompous fool? Doom is a gnat compared to our true enemy. Null is coming.
Well, that's not good. Null, if you don't know, is the Lord of the Abyss, god of the symbiotes, the King in Black. So, not someone you want to take lightly. The problem is that he is supposed to be imprisoned within Klyntar, the symbiote homeworld. If he's affecting entities worlds away, how long until he breaks free entirely? As such, Shuri tasked the Guardians of the Galaxy with investigating Klyntar with hopes of saving the Orisha. But fun fact, the Guardians actually visited Klyntar in the comics, specifically in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Issue 23, though their mission was a bit different then. Regardless, back in the Institute of Science, a screen shows Groot alongside some symbiote plants thing. Under Groot's picture is text that reads, "Failed to locate, searching again." I think Shuri chose the Guardians because Groot's ability to speak with plants may help when investigating Klyntar, a planet whose entire ecosystem is tainted by symbiotes. Unfortunately, the Guardians' ship, the Milano, crash-landed, which is why the info board lists them as missing. Still, Groot is able to speak with the symbiote plants, eventually saving them and even being saved in kind. However, that might not be a good thing because by the end of Groot's story, he is still hearing the symbiote plants in his head, so he may have been connected to them. Also, his short biography claims that Klyntar's Dark King Null now seeks to corrupt Groot's regenerative powers in an effort to cultivate the ultimate symbiote.
This does not bode well.
The Guardians aren't the only heroes drawn to Klyntar. There is also Venom, which is a bonding between Venom the symbiote and a guy named Eddie Brock. While Venom has bonded to many different people throughout the comics, Eddie and Venom have been through enough together that they're now basically one entity. When the time stream entanglement occurred, Venom was connected via the Klyntar hive mind to the other symbiotes, initially confusing them. As they came to their senses, they got a message from the hive mind. According to Venom, they want us to come home to their planet, and they want us to slay Null before he can slay us all. With the help of magic, Venom traveled to the Celestial's colossal corpse that lies near Klyntar. Jutting out from the Celestial side is a hilt of a sword. This is a necrosword, specifically the first ever symbiote, all black, originally created by Null for the sole purpose of killing gods. Venom tries and fails to pull the cosmic sword from the cosmic stone, which makes sense because very few beings have been able to wield the weapon throughout the history of comics. This causes the sword to kind of wake up and bury itself deeper into the Celestial's corpse, which also kind of wakes up, and because of Adam Warlock being nearby and his golden cocoon sends out a psionic blast, it's kind of complicated. All that explains Klyntar as we see it in game. Focusing in on the map itself, a fun fact, the Defender's initial spawn room is actually Eddie and Venom's bedroom.
We've never had so many guests in our personal space. Nice to finally have someone to play with.
It even has some art on the wall declaring it private property.
Don't touch our chocolates. That's Venom's chocolate.
Near the attacker spawn, you can find a small workshop that Rocket the Raccoon has set up.
Nobody better put a hand on my equipment. This stuff is for professionals only. And that don't mean you.
His notes imply that he may be trying to use the symbiotes as an energy source for the Milano, which can be seen in all its crash glory off in the distance.
Hi, baby. Can you believe that my beautiful ship is just lying here on this messed up planet? Ah, it breaks my heart.
As for the attacker spawn, a few screens can be found, one tracking various symbiotic hosts out there in the cosmos.
Poor Eddie wasn't on the guest list, but we're a package deal, so we made a little adjustment.
Going down the list, Eugene Thompson is presumed deceased. Better known as Flash Thompson, he has a long career that includes tormenting Peter Parker, cheering on Spider-Man, going to war, being Agent Venom, and eventually Agent Anti-Venom. Tarna is apparently in the field on Kree-Lar, which is the capital planet of the previously mentioned Kree Empire. She's a Skrull who's hosted 2 different symbiotes. And Mintrel is another symbiote-wearing alien. And Nowhere is a massive city/spaceport built within the decayed, bodiless head of a Celestial. I think this head belonged to the same Celestial whose corpse we mentioned before, floating near Klyntar and visible from the actual map itself.
We agents of the cosmos used to protect the universe. Now we must all finish what the team has started.
So in the comics, the Agents of the Cosmos were an organization of symbiote-bonded people that were dedicated to maintaining peace across the universe as a recompense for the symbiote's dark past. Also, over in the attacker's third spawn room, Venom will have this to say.
This device separates symbiotes from their hosts. Perfect for Null's victims. But we better stay clear, Eddie.
I tried to find out if this machine has a counterpart in the comics, and I'm drawing a blank. The closest approximation I could find was the Scythe, aka the Symbiote Codex Isolation and Thermoheated Extraction Device created by The Maker, which, if you don't know, is a crazy version of Reed Richards. While it sort of kinda has a similar shape, the Scythe was made to extract symbiote codices from previous hosts, which is quite different than separating symbiotes and their hosts. If this is meant to be some other machine, please let me know in the comments below. Anyways, there's probably more, but we're gonna wrap things up with one more interaction.
Ugh, these symbiotes are so gross.
They're not so bad once you get to know them.
I forgot you bonded with one of those things. Was it worth it?
If it gives us even the slightest edge in this battle, then yes, without a doubt.
This is actually referencing Venom Volume 5, Issue 23, where Natasha chose to bond with a newly spawned symbiote named Sliver. The two ended up playing a part in the Venom War events, which ran from August to November of 2024, so it's pretty recent stuff. Speaking of years, in the next video, we'll look at Tokyo 2099 and all of the Spidey-based stuff that it entails, also the Empire of Eternal Night, assuming I can fit all of that stuff into a single video. Either way, thank you so much for watching, big thanks to my channel members for their support, and an intergalactic size thanks to Shay for being a super fan. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, maybe subscribe, and definitely share with a friend because I'm trying to build some momentum up for my channel, and any shares, likes, comments, all that stuff, it helps so much. Thank you, that's all for now, bye-bye.